Alright everyone, welcome along So, what are we going to look at today? What we're going to do today is we're actually going to, let's rate a power app. Right? It'll be a basic one, we're just going to go through a little whistle-stop tour, try and do it in about 10 minutes or so. Okay, so it'll be quick and easy, but the main thing I want you to think about is, right, I could use this, we could get this to work for us. Because what we've got already, haven't we, is we've got the idea of these scorecards that exist in Power BI, right? So in the Power BI service, we have a scorecard. We say, well, this part of the scorecard is the responsibility of Ross. He has to do all this. So the next thing is, well, how can we actually make sure there's comments flowing in, isn't it? So scorecards have this check-in feature where we're going to check them in and we can do stuff with it. But that, of course, means that somebody has to log into the Power BI service and do it. And there's no real alerting going on in that side of things, largely because we're using connected data sets as the main thing. So it's connected the data, so it automatically works through and says, well, this is the current value. What effectively that means is that's checking it in every time the data set refreshes. So what we really need is someone to periodically add a comment to one of those refreshes, or one of those, to the latest update that's there. They just add a comment to it. So the question's going to be, what's the best way to do that, isn't it? So it's always going to be, well, a Power App. So what we did in the first place was we thought, well, let's extract the information that we need, right? And we've done it as a simple pull, right? And what we can do is that's a one-off. We've pulled it through. We're now sorted. Okay. What we'll do is we'll tart this app up a bit more between this week and next week. I'll make it look a lot neater and more tidy, and it'll be, oh yeah, I get this. Right, so it'll actually start to interact and do the checks so that when things update, they update automatically. We can do all that because obviously over time, the ownership of any of these metrics is going to change. So we can make sure those changes are folded in automatically. So we'll do that. But what we'll do today is we'll go in and we're going to create a Power App that will read that list and say, all right, you are logged in. These are the ones that you can see. There you go. Give me the updates for them. Okay. Really simple as a starting point. Beyond that, what you'd really be looking at is, well, how can we bring in more workflow items to it? So there has to be an update every month. How do we do that? What's the best way to do it? Where do we record everything? What do we do? And those are things that we'll discuss, and we can look at what the best options are for that in the future. But let's go over, let's quickly build a basic Power App, okay? It won't be pretty. Right? I'm not going to make this the most beautiful Power App in the world, but we will do something, and then we can properly brand it, theme it, and do all those bits and pieces so you can see what it looks like afterwards. But before we get any of the bells and whistles, let's go into the core pieces we need to do first. Champion. So here we are. Okay, this is make.powerapp.com. Okay, down there somewhere. Right, the main build your Power Apps location. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Power App for this. Okay, so we're going to create a new Power App under the create side on the top left, probably hidden by the logo, and we're just going to create a blank Power App. Okay, so it's going to be one created from scratch. Nothing difficult about it. Okay. We're not bringing data in, not trying to do anything like that, because you could go to the list we've created before, you could create an app from there, right? It'll create something to update the list, which is what we want. We want to do something else. So we've set one up with a blank Power App. We're going to create a blank Canvas app for the sake of this. And I'm going to give it a name. I'm also just going to create a tablet one, just so it looks better on the screen. You might decide for our audience, a phone-based one would be better. But we'll do this for now. Just going to call it metrics. Okay. Metric management, shall we? Yeah. That's probably better. Metric management. Metrics management. We can change the name after the fact, fortunately, with Power Apps. Okay. If you kind of then, what should I call it? What should we do? I don't know. So this is going to come through. We've got a lovely blank page here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to change this blank page to a bit more of a templated page. So the way we do that is we go to create a new screen, and you can see we get a list of the kind of screens that they've got. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake of this, I'm going to pick one that's a sidebar. So we have a nice header at the top. We've got a left bar and a right bar and a right box, okay? Again, it's just a basic templated layout, makes it easier. The page is automatically laid out for you. So again, one less thing to worry about, okay? And then I'm just going to remove page 1 or screen 1. I'm going to rename screen 2 metrics management, okay? Makes sense in a minute. We've got this piece, really simple. The next thing is one which is a bit counterintuitive at times, but what we need to do is enable the modern interface, right? The modern interface is still coming through at the time of doing this in June 2024. It will come through more and more. It has been coming in the last 12, 18 months plus, gradually drip feeding into the app, into the platform. It's getting to that point where you're probably wanting to start switching over to using it. There are still some vagaries between the two where you might go, well, this component doesn't quite work the way it should do. The original component works way better. But I think those are kind of getting ironed out now. So it's kind of getting towards that cutoff point. Again, that's my view. You may feel different, but I'm going to enable them just so that you can see how to do that. So I'm going to click on the settings button on the bottom left. Okay. And scroll right down. And we can see we've got this modern controls and themes here. So he's going to tick that to allow that. We could also, at this point, we could choose to change the icon. Library, okay? Pick a library. You could put your corporate color in there, fill, anything like that, okay? All those bits and pieces you can do here. There's also things you can do here in terms of row limits, but we're not going to cover those today. It shouldn't be an issue. You can also make sure that you're on the right versioning, all from here. So when versions update in PowerApps, doesn't necessarily update your app automatically. You need to go through and manually update it, all through settings. We're not going to cover that today, though. So we've got that. So we've now got our basics set up. The last thing we need to do is actually connect it to our data. So we've clicked on the data button, okay, a little database style icon. I'm going to click add data. And then I'm going to look for SharePoint. Okay, it's got SharePoint. It's got me already because I've connected stuff before. This is going to exist. This is in our Geordie intelligence and it's goals, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to connect to goals. So what that's done is it's created an app structure or an environment that we're going to use. It's also created for us a connection to our data. That's all that's happened so far. First thing I'm going to do, just to make this look a bit neater, is I'm going to add in a header. Okay, it's one of the things, modern component, I'm going to put in a header, makes it nice and easy, doesn't it? It looks professional almost, doesn't it? What we could do is we could change that and might put in the Geordie Intelligence logo there, okay? On the left-hand side, what I was going to do was put in a gallery, so that's like a scrolly down list type thing. Scrolly down list type thing. Maybe they should call it that. So we're going to pick a vertical gallery and say, what do you want the vertical gallery to be connected to? I want it connected to my goals. It's going to roughly build that now based on stuff I don't want it built on, including an image. So what I'll do is I'll look over to the right-hand side, right-hand side. And what we can see is we've got here, we can change the type. So we're going to pick the type without the labels. We've got that. And I'm just going to make it flexible height and full width, okay? Suddenly, I've got a list of my metrics, okay? But this is everything that's in here, okay? And we would know this because I can tweak things. So let's see. If we change this piece here, okay, from being status to let's make this owner, okay, we can see I've got items from Jake in here. Right? I've deliberately put something from Jake in here. So how can I avoid that? I just want to see what I have to manage because I don't want to have to see what everyone's got because this could be a whole business-wide thing. So what would I need to do? So it's not actually all that difficult. If you select the gallery that we've got, okay, we see it's called Gallery 1, so I'm just going to rename that. GLY, goals, okay. And what we've got is we've got here in the top right. So what we need to do is we need to apply a filter to our goals. So we're going to select goals. I'm going to type in filter, open brackets, goals, comma, and that's going to be against goals, owner, equals user, so that's the current logged in user, dot email. Close the brackets, okay? And suddenly it comes back and we've only got the ones that relate to me, okay? So really quickly, really easily, I've been able to filter that down, okay? So for my business, I might only have one. I might have 10, 20, 30, 40, or, you know, just one or two. Hopefully not too many, okay? Okay, the next thing that we've got, something I found is easier, but I'm sure there's lots of people who are going to go, oh, he's done what? Okay. I've created a container. Within the container, it just allows me to then put items on it and drag them around. So we've got text here. Right. So let's create this. Right. This is going to be our goals. Sorry, not our goals, it's our gallery, isn't it? GLY goals dot selected. So what's been the selected item dot GUID. Okay, and we can see here's the GUID for a particular one. Okay, and what we can see is if we zoom in a bit, if I pick something else, oh, wait a minute, helps if I play the app, doesn't it? So if I hit play, we zoom in, and I say, right, what's this one? We can see the GUID changes. GUID changes, GUID changes. So we're getting a GUID now for this consistently. And because we've got a GUID, that means we can actually run something against it. So we're getting to this point. We've got a way of viewing the goals that are available to me, and I can now identify the one I want to update. So what I will do is say, right, here we go. Let's do two things first. Well, one thing first. So let's go and create a PowerApp first off. So we're going to create a flow, because what we should do is let's get what's the current value of the target. Bear in mind, what we've got there in the target is what we had when we first did the connection. What we really want is, well, what's the current value? Okay, the two are going to be different. So I'm going to create this from blank. And what I need here is to add an input. So the input is going to be, I'm just going to call it GUID. Okay. Do an underscore GUID. I think underscore is one of those I'm starting to like now as a thing. It's text because GUID's a text. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to get goal. So we look up goal and we can see we can get a goal. Get our goal. Really difficult. All right. So I've picked get goal. Where's the goal? It's in our Data Model Food Standards. What's the scorecard called? England Food Hygiene. And what's the goal ID? It's going to be a custom value, and it's going to be that underscore GUID that we're going to feed in from our app. Okay. And now what we need to do is create a new step. And this is respond. Okay, respond to a PowerApp or flow, and the output of this, what it will be, is will be a number. We'll call it current target, and let's be consistent and put that with an underscore. Okay, and the value that we want for that is we want the target, isn't it? So if we go down and we pick the goal current value, yeah, it's current value, isn't it? Current value, that's what I'm meaning, isn't it? Okay, so we're now going to have something that's going to return us the current value. So we can now click save, but what I'll do is I'll rename this first. Get current value from goal ID, goal GUID. Okay, save that. So what this will mean is that what I can do here is when I select one of these, okay, so when I click on one of these, what I want is for it to do something. So I will go down here and you'll see there is an onSelect function. And at the moment it says false. So what we want to do as an onSelect is this get current value, run, and then open brackets. Okay. And what it'll do is it will basically tell you what it needs to run. So we know this is going to need the goal GUID. Okay. So what we will do is we will say this item dot goal GUID. Simple. Right? We can also, because it's an output, so what we can do is we can say set open brackets var. This is going to be current value, comma. It's going to be that dot current value, close brackets. Okay, and we'll format the text so you can kind of see what that does. So what we're saying here, okay, it probably looks a lot worse than it actually is we want to set a variable called current value, and we're going to set that based on what the selected GUID is. Okay. What we'd probably do is we'd wrap this in a spinner so it would spin, because there'll be a delay in this running and executing, but it'll work for us. Okay, so what I can do now, zoom back out of here, is let's put another one of these in. Control C, Control V. Okay, let's put this underneath. Instead of this saying this, is let's put this as VAR current value. So if we hit play, you'll see there's nothing at the moment. If we pick London, something going to come up. That expected number, but got a string. Okay. So we can see, we click on something and it'll come back with what the current value is. And you can see they're different to the ones that are there recorded because there's been a period of time and these are two, gosh knows how many decimal points. So it's a minor difference, but it's there. Okay. We could write something to do the difference. We could set something in to make it be restricted to say 2 decimal places. All the things you want to do, we could do. Okay. For the sake of now, I'm just going to leave it. So I've got to this point where we've recorded this value. So the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to write back or write a comment on it, don't I? So if we come out of here, what we can do is we can say, well, I want to put into here, I'm going to go insert, and it's going to be an input a text input, move it down to there. Okay, I did say before this wasn't going to be the neatest piece of work. This isn't about it being neat. This is about it being you seeing what we can do. What I've done as well is I've just on the right-hand side, I've set this to be multi-line instead of single line. So nothing too major there. Okay, we're going to give it a name. Okay, so this is going to be text box. Check-in notes. Okay. So I can now write stuff in here and that will appear as my notes. So what I've got to the point now is where we say, well, we've got a GUID for the goal that we've got. And we've got now as well the idea of a box of text that I can put into it. So how can we go and make them all work together? So again, what we need to do is we need to add to the flow. Add a flow, sorry. And it's going to create a flow. Create a flow from blank. Okay, what we need here is we're going to need the GUID, and we're going to need check-in notes. Okay, so we've got the idea. Those are the two things I think we need from the top of my head, but we can check. So the next step is going to be update goal. Okay. Let's pick on Power BI, and there is an update a check-in. Okay, so it's the update a check-in that we want. So we're going to pick that. Okay, so we go back, we've got the workspace ID. So I'm just trying to check to make sure this is the right one, because there's two of these that are similar that work differently. So let's pick the right workspace, the right one of these. This is going to be not that. Custom value, and we want to give this our GUID. Check-in date. What I'm going to do for this is I'm just going to put, it is, what is it? It's UTC now. Okay, so we're just going to say, check it in now, right? It's not updated check-in, is it? It's notes. Goal note. Add a note to a check-in. That was it. Yep. So we've chosen to add a note to a check-in. So it helps us look like this doesn't feel right. Yep. Data model. Scorecard. Custom value. GUID. Check-in date. Doesn't really change too much. UTC now. And the notes that we're going to have is going to be these check-in notes. Okay. Simple. And we'll hit save on that. Okay, there's nothing else that's going to be done to it. And then the last thing we'd want to have is a button, isn't it? Because we need something to press to make it go in. Okay, so I'll pick a button. Put the text on it. Save, give it an icon. Little save icon. Put the icon after it. Okay, little save button. Fantastic. This didn't take too long, did it? So on save, so on select, what we want you to do on select is, and I forgot to rename the other one, so it's going to be PowerApps. PowerApps v2 run check-in.run. Open brackets, text 1 is the GUIDs, so that's going to be gallery.goals.selected.goal.GUID, comma, and then next one is txt box check-in notes dot value. Okay, so that's what we're going to feed to it. And you can see it's highlighted that. So let's come back out of there. Okay. Was it that simple? Let's see. So all we need to do now is we'll hit play. Okay, so we can say, well, let's look at this one. You see everything updates. Fantastic. This looks really good on the demo. I can't wait to do it for myself. Because that's what you're all thinking now, isn't it? We're going to hit save and it's going to fail. It's not failed. It worked. So let's find out, shall we? Did it work or did it fail? And Ross has no clue. So we can find that out. Open Power BI. Go to our metrics. England food hygiene. It was southeast, wasn't it? Open the average hygiene. Southeast, there's a new comment in there 46 seconds ago. Really good. So it's added it in to this check-in from this morning. Okay, saying it's all on track. So we can see everything's coming through. We've got a note now that's been added to it. We can keep testing this and see how this goes as it's all adding through. So what do you reckon then? Okay. The nature of this and the way it works and the way we've written something really quickly is it's bare bones, okay? In the real world, what you would look to do is use this as a starting point, and then we would expand and extend that around a proper set of workflows. So it depends on how you're going to present back your scorecards. What are you going to do? How do things work? Because we can do that piece where it is putting that there, but we could, rather than just putting it in the check-in, we could also make it appear, say, on a Teams list somewhere. We can do things and look at the workflows that we've got within Power BI itself. So there's a whole raft of options. You might also say, well, we've got a business that insists on using a proper printed out scorecard on PowerPoint. How do we do that? And we can go through and say, well, you can piece these together as components that would then appear there. We can extract those comments, because we could, in theory, put those comments into the SharePoint list or into a sub-list of SharePoint, whatever you want, depending on how you want your history to go. The world is your oyster with this stuff. The point of this demo was to show you that PowerApps, Power Automate, Power BI, they all work together. Okay, there's a reason why, for me, professionally, in our business world, we've shifted from being just what was a Power BI consultancy to doing the Power Platform as a whole. And it's because time and again, our projects, we're running it into things where just in Power BI, it's really difficult to do something. As soon as we fold in, quick Power App, a quick bit of Power Automate, just works. It's so much easier. Life is simple. The challenges that you face with Power Apps and Power Automate is they're low code, no code. Okay. Now that gives a lower entry point, so more people can get into them. So that you shouldn't be looking at, oh, I can't do this. But it also limits what you can do with them, and you have to follow the rules of the application rather than being able to say, well, my logic works this way, I'm going to code it that way. And, you know, a true programming language, that's kind of how they work. There are frameworks that you need to use, but you can kind of pick and choose a bit more than you can with Power Apps and Power Automate. But it's well worth noting, and as we've just shown you in quite a short demo, that you can still piece together a powerful app very quickly. Because from what we've got there, the real tweaks would be far more cosmetic, wouldn't they, in terms of, oh, we need to properly brand that screen. How does it look on someone who has on every device that we use? Bearing in mind, some people have a far smaller screen, or someone wants to use a phone, so can we make sure it works on phones as well as tablets? Or is it iOS that we need to be compatible with? Or, you know, the whole multitude of things. But that's nothing to do with the app. That's nothing to do with my capability of it. It's part of it, but the whole point of the Power Platform as a whole is these all integrate together, and we can slot application components in very quickly and very efficiently and get something that's very standardized, or dare we say, process orientated. So I hope that's inspired you to go and have a try and set up some of your own Power Apps. If you think that you'd like to do more, or your business would benefit from being in touch with us, email us, get in touch. Geordie Consulting, they're the ones who will deal with your organization's needs. We will implement Power Apps for you. We can implement Power BI. We can give you the guidance and support you need to bring that in-house and really leverage those skills that you have already within your organization. So take care, stay safe, ta-da.